Hey everyone, welcome to this full moon Sidereal Astrology forecast for the full moon on Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. All right, so we have the second full moon in Leo. If you're expecting me to say Virgo just then, be sure to check out the link down below for more information. We are using the visible sky on this channel called True Sidereal Astrology, and it does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so second full moon in the constellation of Leo. We had the last one here as well, which has been a good time to do a bit of a status check with our expressive side. And so now these days surrounding the full moon, to do a status check with how is that expressive side, how are the things in our life that are close to our hearts, are we connected to that playfulness, that creative life force, are we doing what we love, what we're passionate about? These are all good things to do a bit of a status check with, and where we'll likely make some readjustments moving forward for the lunar cycle. Now the full moon will be opposite watery Neptune, so it's good to balance out some of that fire, that expressive fire of Leo, with receptivity and making sure we connect with our soul, and maybe taking some time out as well with this Neptune opposition. The full moon will be squaring up to Mars, forming this T-square. And so some of that fiery energy might be a bit under extreme collectively. And so it's good to be constructive and intentional with that fire, right? Intentional with our self-expression, intentional with our assertive side, and taking initiative with things. All of this very good to implement constructively, and it can be a great time to do that, actually. And there's a trine up to Uranus as well, so just a nice support with some of the individual self-expression, the uniqueness, the unorthodoxy, that true self coming through. And this is really good anyways because, of course, opposite Leo is Aquarius, where we do have the Sun and Mercury at the moment. So anytime we're talking about doing what we love and expressing ourselves, it's important to balance that out with still having a vision for the future, making sure we're still focused on what we want to cultivate for the future, and also collectively as well, really. So connecting with friends, or maybe even contributing to community or the world at large. What all that really needs is for us to be expressing ourselves, and also for us, in order for us to find our passion, it's important to be a part of these things greater than ourselves and have some sort of vision for the future. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here's the chart for the full moon. So the full moon will be on Tuesday, March 7th for most of us here, but the exact time will be around 8:20-ish of Eastern time of the Americas, 8:20 a.m. Eastern time of the Americas. That depends on, of course, where you are in the world, not just time zone wise, but with the latitudes as well, since we are using the visible sky here. But for all intents and purposes, it will be the days surrounding Tuesday, March 7th. Okay, and again, as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. You will notice a lot of the signs are different. For example, in mainstream, they are saying that the full moon is in Virgo at the moment. But if you do look up at the visible sky, you will see the full moon is actually towards the later part of Leo here. All right, so for more information, do check out that link down below. All right, so first of all, full moon, it is the time, really the heightened energy of the lunar month. It's a great time for more extroverted things or outward things in life, and getting some of that energy out into the outer world. And so good time for that, as we approach the full moon, building of energy, getting to the heightened part of it. It's a great time of harvest as well. We often come to the harvests of whatever we did start during the beginning of the cycle, which would have been about 2 weeks ago in the monthly sense. Any new things that have come into your life or new perspectives you've had since the past couple weeks could have their bit of harvest for the lunar month. But all in all, I would say the most important way, at least for personal development, to work with the full moon is to use it from its great perspective that we get. The sun energy is bouncing off of the moon energy, and so we do get this illumination of both the outer and inner worlds. And so they become very distinct, right? The sun and moon are opposite each other. So we have our outer awareness, our perspective in the outer world, but we also have this inner awareness that we're gaining. And so great time for gaining a new perspective on things and a new perspective on the life journey and how it's developed over the past couple weeks. And perhaps from that, making shifts and adjustments. Oftentimes the halfway point, along with the status check, is good for pivoting. The car's already moving. Again, the momentum is built. We're in the heightened, the car's moving as fast as it can, but we are now shifting direction, turning the car perhaps in a new direction to further the lunar cycle's energy. So what we are furthering here is the constellation of Leo. It's the side of life that deals with self-expression. It deals with all matters that deal with matters of the heart and cultivating, the energy of, pride, basically, the things that we're proud of. The things we create, we're proud of. Those in our life that we love, we're proud of. And, our hobbies, interests, and things we enjoy in life, we're proud of. And so Leo really is about expressing that into the world. So a great time for creativity, all forms of self-expression, playfulness, fun and entertainment, and again, connecting to those we love as well. So doing a status check with this, how is that side of ourselves going? Are we connected to our hearts in that sense? Are we doing what we love and connected to our passion? It's never a singular thing, and it's never anything that necessarily is mental like that. But, does our life have that kind of vital life force energy? Or, is what we're focused on and doing in life giving us energy? Is it a source of passion and love? Is it coming from that? And to some degree, there's things that we can readjust to bring in more of that energy. So a great time of, again, doing creative stuff or hobbies and interests and all this, or having just simply some fun and entertainment in order to bring in more of that vital life force of Leo, which is a very important part of life, of course. So status check, how's that doing? And making some readjustments to turn that car into furthering develop that expressive side. And this is, of course, always good to balance with the Aquarian energies, the sun, which not only rules Leo, but is, of course, the equal half to the full moon, is still in progressive Aquarius, also where we have Mercury opposite as well. And so Aquarius opposite Leo is the reminder that in order to really, connect to our passions, like, if you were to ask someone who's quote unquote found their passion, not that it's a singular thing, but if you were to ask someone who's found their passion, so to speak, it's usually something greater than themselves. It's usually some vision that they have, right? And this is very much what Aquarius represents. In order to cultivate the healthy qualities of passion and love and self-expression, we do have to be focused on things greater than ourselves. Whether it's our friends, our community, or the future, or the world at large, getting into more of that innovative side of ourselves, or just simply focusing more on our own visions for the future. It's the vision that creates the passion, or at least healthy passion anyways. So great to balance out that creative life force with focusing on the future, our own visions, or the collective visions, as that's a great energy that will balance it out and help propel it forward. The full moon is opposite up to Neptune and Pisces as well. And this is getting closer to that part that does oppose Pisces exactly. And so this is a good time to also, while cultivating that fire and passion of Leo, to also be connected to our soul, right? Connected to, where our soul's guiding us. And sometimes, the most direct approach to things isn't always the best approach. And so sometimes receptivity, sometimes taking a step back, sometimes pausing, sometimes listening, is the better course of action. And so even though we are dealing with a lot of extroversion kind of energy here with this, kind of Aquarius, Leo, Yang kind of energy, and the square to Mars we'll talk about, but the Neptune is the reminder that, of course, it's important to connect to the yin, to the spiritual, to our soul, connect inwardly, and kind of flow through the energy as much as possible. And this will be, particularly emphasized a bit later in the week once the sun does enter Pisces, but I think this is a good reminder to be implemented with the full moon right now. Now the full moon will be squaring up to Mars, and so this is certainly the challenging aspect with it. It's forming this T-square. And so Mars is that fiery energy, which is about assertiveness and drive and directness. And in the square, it does tend towards over or under emphasis, at least collectively, at least as a default. And so anything we can do that is intentional with assertiveness, drive, and initiative, is fantastic. To be conscious of our own needs and that need to express and initiate and be proactive and direct, and by being conscious of it, then it can manifest in much more constructive and intentional ways. So a good time to be mindful of that, incorporate some of that healthy, intentional initiative, directness, expressing of our needs. And in this way, it can become very constructive. It's the squares that really do build things in life and really challenge us to implement the energy, even though it may be difficult because it's either not enough or too much. Again, the pendulum can swing with it, but the mindfulness, the intention can help balance it out. And then we can build this energy, integrate this energy very constructively. And Mars in Taurus is the reminder to take things slowly, one step at a time. Taurus is also that yin energy. And so that big lesson, since Mars has been here for over 6 months now, has really been to, stop and smell the roses, take things one step at a time, be grounded in our approach and actions to things, and kind of move things forward in that way. Okay, so that's the challenging aspects with it, but there's support with it as well. Uranus will be trining up to the full moon, so there is this spontaneity. The true self could be coming through a bit easier, and it's that individual self-expression. And again, much like Aquarius, Uranus rules Aquarius, so there's that support for some of that vision, unorthodoxy, and even collective energy, which is certainly at play at the moment anyways there. All right, everyone, so that is the full moon in a nutshell. Most important thing is status check just in general, seeing how the past 2 weeks have been going in your life, not necessarily mentally, but just feeling the energy, and perhaps making a shift and pivot along the life journey to further develop it, and particularly in the context of self-expression, cultivating some of that playfulness and creative energy that Leo's all about, balancing that out with vision and contribution perhaps, or being a part of something greater, as we all are a part of something greater, whether we're aware of it or not. But being aware of that can help balance out some of Leo energy and really be the gateway or the fuel for a lot of that passion and love that Leo represents. The opposition up to Neptune is the reminder to connect with our soul and to go with that sort of flow or etheric energy a bit. Squares to Mars remind us to be intentional with the fiery side of things and our needs and our initiative. And the trine to Uranus does give us a bit of that spontaneity to work with just in an easier sort of way. All right, everyone. So that is the full moon in a nutshell. Hope you have a fantastic full moon. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube and extra content not normally released on YouTube. If you're not yet signed up, there's a link down below. But again, have a great one, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.